Here we go. Sorry, let me see people in. So what he did what he did through his social media, and it was such a big thing that we obviously, wanted more
I'd
people.
really like to have a hype.
We wanted more people to get a chance to learn about what he did with the social media part of things this last year. And he gave us some information after the fact, okay, kind of after he'd been through it all. But it was kind of like we all need it kind of fresh and right now, and we'd love to have that social media stuff that he did. So basically, I was like, hey, branch managers, people who've been through pushes before, obviously want this information and want to be able to go out and use it, whether their focus is a 10K push, a 20K push, a 50K push. We know that you can obviously give us some great stuff, McColl. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm sure you're going to go through some of your numbers and some of the things that you did. So I will reserve that for you and let you give us the goods. Thank you for your time, and thanks for taking the time to do this. I know that you could be doing 100 other things, and I know that all the money I'm paying you was pretty enticing, but outside of that, it's I appreciate it.
Yeah, Damien, you gotta put that background back on real quick so I can take a screenshot of it and send it to my dad. He would be so proud of that. Okay, hold on. All right, I got the screenshot.
You got that.
Oh man, that's funny stuff. That's from my dad and my sister went on a vacation without me, and so they got a little laminated cutout of me, and they put it in all of the pictures. So yeah, they're fun. Let me pull up a document. What I did for you all that I hope that you'll be excited about is I literally just typed everything out, so that way when we end this call, you'll still have it all. And you don't need to necessarily write down a ton of notes, but I will give you some extra little nuances that aren't going to be in the document. So this is where I'm that was weird. That's not what I meant to copy. Push resources. So everyone go to this link right here. And I'm going to share my screen as well. Just put it in the chat. All right, I see people hopping on. Great. So you may have seen this before. This has just got like some printouts for SC2, like how to build your names list through Facebook. It's got some MyVector demos. I don't know what demo you guys are using. So these might not be helpful if you're using a different one. Some phone scripts. Here's probably one of the most valuable things on here is like your pre-push checklist. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that today because I'm going to really be focusing on social media. But what I just added down here is a document with the social media strategy. On this document, we've got when you should do everything, what you should put in it, why you should do it, and then examples and then some tips. So I'm just going to walk through it right now. And if you got, I'll keep the chat open. So if you got some questions, just put them in the chat and we will do it that way. All right. So Facebook and Instagram stories. You may have seen these from last year, but I did these every night starting actually before the all day call day. I was doing some of them, but at the very least you want to start on the all day call day and do it until the night of the conference. And what you're going to be doing is every single night at the very least, you're going to post these numbers: number of demos completed, number of orders sold, CPO sold, demos booked, demos left to complete, and CPO left to hit that goal. Normally, what I would do throughout the day is share some thoughts about what I'm learning and put this on my stories throughout the day. There were some days where I did that. And there were some days where literally all I did was just the minimum in this part, but I did it every single day. And the reason why is because I wanted to get customers and people in my network watching the journey. And I also mentioned again, what I'm learning from my struggles. People want to support you. They don't just want perfection. They don't really want you to be perfect because that's not relatable. They're looking for effort and authenticity. So whenever I was struggling with something or learning, I would share it in a positive way. I'm not going to vent through my story, but I'm going to say, hey, I just faced this challenge and here's here's kind of how I'm going through it. Another thing that was really helpful about these stories is that most of you guys are very experienced and you've gone through many pushes before, and you've got things to teach people who are going through their first pushes. You're probably connected on social media with some of the newer reps on your team. You're certainly connected with people outside of Cutco who could use some personal growth inspiration. And you can use this as a way to contribute. I remember one of the best feelings during push was when people would reach out to me and say, hey, thanks for posting this. I learned a lot. This really helped me. And they weren't even Cutco people. So there was a deeper meaning behind my push because I was sharing what I was really learning and being authentic about it throughout the entire push. So that's the Facebook and Instagram stories. And what I did right here is I actually I tried to link it straight to the story, but it was glitching when I did that. So I just linked it to my Instagram profile, and you'll find it right at the top under the stories. One of them says SC2 push, SC2 prep. You can kind of start from right to left. If you look at this one, I want to show you at least one. Here's me just sharing some thoughts, just sharing that I was grateful about something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but here's what the daily stat thing looked like for me every day. Demos complete, number of orders. I would put a phone order to separate it. I didn't have a phone order every day. I just happened to have one that day. The CPO, number of demos that I booked that day. This is not demos booked total. This is the number that I booked through making calls that day. And then how many demos that I had left and how much CPO I had left. So I did this a bunch of times. Some more thoughts, more thoughts. There were a lot of thoughts towards the beginning. Oh, and here's another one. So this is kind of what it looks like every single day at the very least to share my stats. And again, you can find that by clicking on either of these links. These links are the same thing. All right, now let's talk about Facebook. This is like actual posts on Facebook. So when you're going to be doing things are before push, the beginning of each week, the day before the conference, and then after the conference. So before push, you are following and friending all of your past customers on Facebook and Instagram. So there are some of you that have a lot of past customers. Some of you don't. If you have a ton and you're like me, you can hire your sister to do it for you. And that was really helpful. So that way I could be building my names list and doing other things. If you're just hiring somebody because you're lazy, then, well, still maybe do that. Get it done somehow. And what I told my sister is that if somebody looks like this person on my customer list, or they seem familiar, or there's a couple of names on Facebook, just friend them all. I don't care. I want to make sure that I have the customer there. Now at the beginning of each week, I'm going to post an update on my Facebook page. Here's one of the things that I'm most excited to share with you guys is that I have linked them into this document. So if you want to see what I posted week 1, the very beginning of push, you click on this link and it'll bring you directly to the post. Same thing with any of these. It'll bring you directly to all of the posts. I would suggest using them for inspiration. I would not suggest copying, pasting, because then they won't come across as authentic. So use it for inspiration. If there's parts that you want to take that feel authentic to you, go ahead. Now, the day before the conference, just pour your heart out. This is one of my favorite ones. Some of you may have seen it before, but I got, just because I poured my heart out and I was so active on social media, I got 28 comments and 11 shares. And people were tagging a bunch of people. So you can use the words and the inspiration from that. But really the reason that there was so much action on that last post was because I had been so consistent with posting every week on my actual Facebook, and then posting on my Instagram and Facebook stories. And then after the conference, you want to thank everyone, just give them an update on how you did on your goal, whether you hit it or not. I'm assuming that you're going to hit it. But here's one little caveat. Have you ever set a goal that was like so extremely high that like you had no chance to actually hit it? That might be kind of embarrassing if you did that to yourself and you were posting this on your social media story every single day. So I'm going to encourage you to pick a goal that's not only exciting in a large number, but also you're fully committed to. You know, my best push before selling 50,000 was 24,000. And my goal was originally 40 for this push. But if I had set the goal at like 100 and I felt so far behind, it would have been kind of embarrassing to post that every day. You don't want to be changing your goal all the time on your stories. So make sure that your goal is like really true and really something that you're committed to no matter what. Some tips: hire a sibling. Oh, here's another thing that I would do towards the beginning is I would ask everyone that I knew to share, comment, and like on my Facebook posts so that it would gain traction. When Facebook algorithm sees that people are liking, sharing, and commenting the post, it's going to send it to more people. So you can actually like influence the system by asking people to do that for you. I'm just thinking like family and friends. I actually asked for that in the first post. You'll see that if you look at it. At the bottom, it says, here's how you can help. Number 1, share this post. Now, in your weekly posts, here's another little thing that I really like to do is tag all of the customers who had bought during the previous week. This is also helpful for the Facebook algorithm because it's going to ping all of these people. They're probably going to interact with the post, and then more people are going to see the post because I did that. And I'm just sharing appreciation. And again, I'm going through a lot here, and it's all here if you need to come back and debrief. Here's another thing that I learned during the push that was really helpful for me. It's called hook story offer for your marketing. You've probably seen in like Facebook ads and marketing posts, the first line is always something like weird and shocking. It's like, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head right now, but that's the hook. You know, a hook could be as simple as five strategies. Oh, think about BuzzFeed, the 8 cutest corgis of 2021, right? That's like the hook. And you're like, all right, I got to click on this. The story is you tell a story about the hook, or you give some context, and then the offer is like the invitation. Now, sometimes the offer is place an order from me, buy something. Sometimes the offer is as simple as follow me on my journey. I'd love to have you watching. And that's the marketing strategy you want to use for all of your Facebook posts and your emails. Hook story offer. In marketing, explain Friday is the last day. Oh, here's something else that I did. I didn't tell people that SE2 ended when the conference started, which is the truth. I didn't necessarily lie, but what I said is that Friday is the last day before the conference. So I wanted to create some urgency so that way I could drive orders. And I think I got like 56 orders on Friday. And then Saturday morning was really just like making sure I had filled in the cracks and got everybody else. And I got another 26 orders on Saturday morning. But imagine if I'd been trying to do all of that on Saturday morning, I probably would have missed out on some things. So you're just telling people Friday's the last day before the conference, which implies urgency. Let's make this happen. All right, now email. Email is actually really simple. I only sent 2 emails. I sent one the first day of the push and then one the day before the conference. So send it, email, pouring your heart out. Some customers will respond to email, some texts, some Facebook. I'm actually going to use the same text that I used in the Facebook posts for the emails. So don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to write a whole nother email. Just use the same thing. And you'll notice in my posts and my emails that they're pretty long. You don't have to make them that long. I was just pouring my heart out and they ended up being that long. That wasn't necessarily intentional. So another tip is to write out your email before push starts and then schedule it to send the morning of push, like Tuesday morning. That way you don't have to do it on the first day of push. Like I would start working on that tonight and maybe have it done by tomorrow or Saturday, and then get it to just schedule it to send out that morning. So that way you already know it's taken care of. I mentioned this already. Oh, and then also in the first email, you want to mention to people, hey, if I'm really close on my last day, I'm going to send you a text with some cool deals to help me hit my goal. So that set me up so that way they were looking for a text. Text is also really simple. I only sent out one text the day before the conference, and I mentioned how far away I was from my goal, what deals I had, and how they should place the order. I used my rep portal and I said, hey, go here if you want to place an order. So that way I could get as many orders as possible. If you don't have a rep portal, no worries. Just tell them to text you back or call you or email you. Ideally, I would probably recommend telling them to just respond, and then you'll give them a call from that response. I used a texting base. Keep it short and sweet. So that way you don't have to spend a ton of money. Yeah, you have to be at 30K apparently to get a rep portal. I thought it might have been 20, but either way, it's up there. It'll like appear on your Vector Connect and allow you to sign up for it. It's something that you pay for. So if you don't have it yet, don't worry about it. This is just if you have one. And so what I did is on the first day of the push, I updated it and put all of my goals and my whys on it. And then on the last day, I actually updated it a few times throughout the day, every like 3 or 4 hours. And I put a little timestamp next to it. So I said, it's I think I said like 42,000 out of 50,000 updated. And then I put a little timestamp. And then I updated that every once in a while. So that way the people who I was funneling to the rep portal were seeing that update and could see live like how close I was. And if this was a helpful place for me to direct customers, because I think I had 300-ish people that I was emailing. And so it's just helpful not have to respond to all these people over email. Now through Facebook, where most of the orders came from, I tried to send them to the rep portal, but a lot of them just wanted to talk. So I closed a lot of phone orders. So basically what I'm saying is if you don't have a rep portal, no biggie, it just might make it a little bit easier. And I'm just being transparent with exactly what I did. And now down here, this is the last part that I'll share with you for now, is this is just the schedule. I put little codes next to each one. Rep portal is P, text T, email E. And so it just tells you when to do what. Every day, do a story. Before the push, you're working on friending people on Facebook and updating your rep portal. Day 1, you're going to do a Facebook post and send an email. Day 8, which is like day 1, week 2, Facebook post, Facebook post, Facebook post, rep portal, and then day after the conference. This should actually be like this. This is when you do everything. And then on the day after, you'll just do Facebook and email. So Stacy, to save myself and you guys most of the time, I tried to just put it all here so that way you could have it and have all the links. If there's anything else you want me to touch on now, I can do that or just answer questions. So just let me know.
I mean, this is really good. Thank you for putting this document and making it very simple for people to follow. So yeah, I would love to open up the questions. So why don't you guys fire away your questions versus throwing them in the chat, and let's let McColl answer them and see if he's got answers for you on these things. Because hey, thanks McColl. That document is awesome, by the way, and obviously having you answer some of the questions will be helpful. Go for it. Allie, I see you have a question. Fire away.
So do you do the Facebook, like the stats directly through Facebook posts, or do you do Facebook stories?
I did it through Instagram, and then I clicked the button that says also share to Facebook story.
Okay. So, do you think it would be more, I don't know, effective if we did direct posts every night, or with the stories? Because I don't know how many people know how to work Facebook stories. So.
Yeah. So for full transparency, the reason that I was doing stories is because mostly for the contribution to like support and teach. That originally wasn't mostly for the customers. I was doing the post each week for the customers. I think that could be a good idea. And you could like tag all the people that had bought each day in that post. And the only thing you might be missing out on is just the people who rather look at stories than look at posts. I think it was nice for me to have a combination of both to kind of satisfy both types of people. Because even though it might seem like, target customers, they don't really know technology very well. I think some of them really do, and some of them will watch your stories. So that's kind of up to you. And if it works really well for you, then, let us know and we'll change it for next year. But what I have right here is just like exactly what I did.
Ali, I think the last part is the answer. I mean, if you do both, you're not going to lose by doing it. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, I can't believe I saw it twice. Like, it's like, I don't think people are going to see it. So
yeah, right. So why not put it on your story and post it? I don't see a problem with that.
Other questions?
I had a question. So McColl, obviously you were trying to do 100 demos, and with a lot of things, reschedules, cancellations. One of my questions is, did you double book to like kind of have something to lay back on just in case they canceled or rescheduled?
Let me pull up my calendar really quick. I know that I was really squeezing them in the last couple of days, but I never wanted to sacrifice quality for quantity. I just really didn't want to do that. So let me see if I can pull up my calendar really fast. July. So the pink are the demos, and what eventually I started doing was like green were the ones that confirmed on the confirmation text, red would cancel. So I had them pretty spread out. I was booking them every, 75 minutes, hour and 15. So that's how I was squeezing them in. And then on the last week, if you look here, like this last day, I had this one double booked. I was squeezing some in here and just like making it happen. But the reality is, I think I'll just stick with the first thing that I said, is that I wasn't going to sacrifice quantity for quality, because I actually, in my first summer as a manager, I had a rep who sold like 12 grand for SE1 and he did like 20 demos. And so for SE2, he's like, I'm going to do 100 demos. He ended up completing 99, but he only sold 19,000. So he only sold an extra 17,000, and he like quintupled his numbers of demos completed. So like finding the right balance for you of quantity and quality is really important.
That was something halfway through the push, McColl, where you realized, I remember us having a conversation where like, man, I'm starting to just book demos to book demos. Like you even caught yourself doing that after planning not to. Can you talk about how many orders were you actually getting throughout the push from social media? Because the last week you got 94 orders. So I believe that, all the social media work you were doing, it wasn't really paying off until the last 2 or 3 days, or like even like the last day and a half of the push. I think that's important to state, because I could see a lot of newer people doing this, and halfway through the push it's like, this isn't working, I just got to book demos.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Brian. My offer in my Facebook posts and story, the hook story offer thing, I didn't offer for anyone to buy anything until the day before the conference. So I didn't have any. Actually, I probably had 3 or 4 people who just like saw my post and were like, hey, this person needs shears or something like that. And I got some orders because people were just seeing it and thinking about Cutco, but I wasn't offering it until the very end. So it was all just really building up. My offer most of the time was, let me know if you're open to scheduling an appointment with me, or let me know if you have any referrals or things like that. You'll see that on the posts when you're creating your own. That last day was the only day that I actually asked for offers, and that's when it really paid off.
Awesome. Stacy, thank you for letting us hop on. I know y'all are doing a division meeting. So Todd, if you could hop off so they can get back started. Thank you for letting us hop on, Stacy. McColl, we appreciate it, man.
Yep. See you guys.
Hey, so McCall, I just 82 is what you just said. 82 orders that you got on Friday and Saturday combined. So you're saying previous to that Friday, Saturday, there was only, 2 to 5, something like that you got from all of this.
Yeah. So what did I say? I said 56 on the Friday and then like 50 something on Friday. And what did I say?
You said 56 and 26. It doesn't matter. It could be 50.
Okay. It's very close to those numbers. Yeah. I know it's in the mid 50s and in the mid 20s. My mission was to complete 100 demos during push, and I completed 88, and I got 73 orders from those 88 demos. And then I ended up with 151 orders for the entire push. And so the difference there is the amount that I got through Facebook. And yes, only a couple of them, like 4 max, came before the last day and a half.
Okay, perfect. So I think that's a big note. Everybody, I'm glad Brian brought it up, and I had this note here. I was like, so tell us what happened pre that. So it's really a matter of this is like a 3-week buildup, basically.
Yeah.
Like pre the push, the week of the push, second week of the push, and it's really not until halfway through the very end of the push that you really see the reward on this thing. Can you tell us? Go ahead.
I was going to say it was helpful, like way beyond just the actual orders at the end. It was helpful for the accountability, the contribution, the just like feeling like I was helping people, but also knowing like people were watching and they were counting on me. Like it put some really great positive pressure on me. So it wasn't just for the orders.
And when you said accountability, and this is because pretty much everybody who's on here is either a branch manager or an assistant manager who's been through an SC2 push previously. You did that for every other rep is what you were doing that for, actually, right? Like that's why you were doing that.
The stories were not for the customers. The stories were for reps to teach them. And I was going after a really big goal, and I wanted to show them I was going to actually give my best, actually go after it.
So if I can reiterate that one more time to those of you who are branches and assistant managers on here, again, you're going to get a win with your customers, but you're not really, if you do this, it should be for your people to see this is what, Michaela's doing. This is what Carla's doing. This is what, so it's that concept of you're talking out loud about what you're doing. That's what McColl did. He talked out loud about what he was doing versus just kind of being a hidden thing. And at the end going, wow, McColl sold 50 grand. Isn't that awesome? Everybody knew how McColl sold 50 grand. If you were in his office, if you were attached to his Instagram, if you were attached to, like, you saw it happening in front of your eyes. So you guys can make a big impact on your reps too, as well as making an impact on, as well as getting this. How many customers did you have previous to the start of the push? So when you talked about going here and friending and following customers, what was your customer number, give or take?
About 300. About
300. So some of you need to realize this, that your number might be 100 customers. Your number might be 75 customers. So you're not going to necessarily get 70 orders the last day of the push. You might end up with 20 orders the last day of the push because he had 300 customers. You have 100 customers. You might end up with 20 orders at the end of this process. Okay. But you got to understand that 20 orders is still a win, right?
Like a lot. I would have been fired up if I got 20. I didn't mean to get 70.
Exactly. So I just want everybody to not be like, you do it and then you get to the end and go, I only got 12 orders the last day. This sucks. It's like, okay, you got 12 orders. Yeah, that's more than yeah. Generally speaking, that's more than half the people get like during a push period. Okay, like so it's like that's a good win.
Yeah, I would say that everything that could go right for this went right. It was like a perfect storm. So, if you don't get 54 orders, you didn't fail. If you get 5, it's worth your time.
Yeah. How much had you sold prior to this push, McColl, personally?
think it was a little less than 200.
I think that's also something to be notable, is that the ability to add the number of clients and get the explosive result also has something to do with the amount of quantity. So the reason I bring that up is because I want people to be able to kind of get a kind of like, okay, so if I'm coming into this push with $30,000 of sales versus 200, I need to kind of get an idea of what I might be able to accomplish based on how many people might be following.
Yeah.
I guess if you could maybe add a bunch of people, I guess that could sort of.
Yeah, I think you're making a really great point. And if all this program did for you was add that extra 2,000 that got you from 13,000 to 15,000, it's absolutely worth it.
Sure.
I sold 12,000 at the very end. And yes, if my list had been smaller and I didn't have all these people, I wouldn't have sold 12,000. So you probably shouldn't expect, if you have less customers than me, to sell 12,000. But this could be the difference in selling 17,000 and 20,000. This could be the difference in, maybe a lot of things don't go right for you. It could be the difference between 8,000 and 10,000. This is really what can close the gap if you're fully committed to it. And it's not just about these sales at the end. It's about supporting your team, doing it for them. And that was much more exciting for me than the actual numbers. But it's also about if you post for 5 or 6 days in a row, your numbers, you're not about to go on that next day and not do it, because people are watching. You don't want people to think you're that type of person that doesn't follow through. So sorry if I cut you off there, Damien, but keep going.
No. And I guess, going back to the question is, are you doing a group, or you're posting it just publicly? You didn't do a group, right?
Public. Yeah.
Okay. So that way anybody can be part of it. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
People to share it. I want a lot of people to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, his hair was wet. He just got out of the shower. It's 10 o'clock. He's like, whew, man, I'm drained. I've been working all day. That was great.
I think that's also incredibly powerful, is just video me. You can't be shy with this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another point. I made myself seen and I put myself out there, and it was uncomfortable. You'll probably see in some of those videos that I probably looked as awkward as I felt. And that's just the reality of it.
McColl, you never look awkward.
No, you're just flattering me.
Spencer,
do we have time for another question?
Yes, we have about 10 minutes roughly.
Okay, cool. So my biggest question is less technical. So obviously you were trying to do a whole bunch of demos. You had a whole bunch of things going with text, emails, Facebook posts. What did you do to not have your brain explode?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. How did my brain not explode?
Or did it?
Did it explode? One of the things that Brian can attest to that I did is I actually took a 20-minute nap every day during push. And that might be kind of surprising, but towards the afternoon, after doing 5 or 6 demos, making calls during the alliance meeting in the morning, it just felt right to just rest for a little bit. And I would just lay on the couch in the office. And then I always felt a lot better after that. So, I was really serious about the way that I took care of my energy. I brought 5 or 6 bags of frozen broccoli to the office, so that way I could eat that as a snack rather than something bad. I had a lot of protein bars. My fiance Natalie helped me prepare a lot of meals ahead of time. So energetically, I did everything that I possibly could to show up at my best. I didn't work out every single day like it would be cool to tell you that I did, but I was prioritizing my health. And I was probably working out a couple times a week, 2 or 3, and just making sure I was eating right. I was drinking a lot of water, just taking it really seriously. And then another thing that I did to help my brain not explode is that, some of you guys might know Mike Lanzetta, and he's been coaching me since 2017. And one of the things that he said right before I went out and did the push is he said, if you're going to have your best push ever, you're going to have more fun than you've ever had before. So even though I was taking some things very seriously, there were a lot of things that I just wasn't taking seriously, and I was just focused on having a lot of fun. So that way, when it came down to like all these logistical things that I was trying to manage and keep track of, I wasn't so bogged down because I was having fun and I was enjoying it. And I was exuding that through the Facebook posts and through the emails and through the texts. It wasn't a chore. I was genuinely enjoying it because I was focused on having fun. So I know that's not a logistical answer to your question, but for me, I didn't have this outline that I just gave you. I just kind of like did something and tried it. And now I'm sharing with you what I tried because it worked. So I wasn't like so intense that it's like, all right, it's this day, I got to do this. Like if you've got to post the Facebook post the day after, like day 9 instead of day 8, no big deal. Like, don't be so hard on yourself that it becomes a chore or like so stressful that you can't enjoy it and have fun anymore. You following that, Spencer?
Yeah, that was great, because I had watched your stories before, and I had seen to where you like went out with your fiance. Like, it was posts where you were like remembering the things in life that you care about and taking time to like hang with family and stuff like that. So that was a perfect answer.
Thanks, man. Man,
Corbin.
you're making me feel, yeah, Corbin, we'll go to you in a second. You're making me feel really, really appreciative right now. I mean, that's why I wanted to do those stories, is for, you know, people like you, Spencer, to see it and for it to mean something. So I'm getting a little emotional, but I appreciate you sharing that. All right. Whew. Corbin.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, you may not know this number or not, but how many like new customers that you never did a demo with got placed an order with you through the final post?
Huh. I don't know that. I don't know that answer. I would guess that out of the 76 orders, that a little less than half of them placed the order without me talking to them, and they just like went straight onto my rep portal. And I know that most of the people that I talked to over the phone were past customers. So I'm going to go with 20. And if that feels really important, then have Stacy get in touch with me, or Stacy, you can ask me later and I can look that up if it feels really important. That's a good question.
You had 20 people who'd never placed an order just placed an order, is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, because I did, like, on the last post, I don't know if you guys saw this, but basically I was like, buy an ice cream scoop for your friend. And I just like challenged everybody. And there were a lot of people who did it. And there were people who were tagging other people. One of my favorite customers was this lady who like did a same day demo. She bought a homemaker and she's like, you've got to hit this goal. And it was like towards the beginning. And then like every time I would post, she would share it and she would tag people in it. And so like, it would be cool if everyone could be like that. You might not get that customer who's like 100% on your team, but you might. I don't have any strategies as far as that goes. Just make a lot of calls and you might run into them.
Carla.
Hi. You were a branch manager when you did this big push. How did you split your focus between like taking care of your reps and then like focusing on your own sales? Because whenever I sell, I just like get in this mode of like my sales and I get in this momentum, but I obviously don't just want to like ghost all of my people. Yeah. And I know that was the point of the stories of like inspiring them, but how did you, I guess, like make personal connections with them too, like check up on them?
Yeah, I can definitely answer that. So I was in slightly a different position than branch manager. I was the division office manager.
Okay.
And we had like, I don't know, a lot of people on the team, probably 70, 80. I mean, we had a lot of people on the team at this point. And yes, the stories were to help inspire them. My responsibility during this push, you know, Brian was really helpful for me, and he helped me take a lot of the like PDI and PCs and things like that off of my plate. And what we did is we talked to other assistant managers. We had somebody who was dedicated to taking care of these things during certain times during the push. So if you're not able to have the situation like me where you can have someone fully take like the big bulk of it off the plate, you know, I was still taking PDI and things like here and there. But if you don't have someone to like run PCs and do some active PDI, then you've got some time now to find that person and secure it. And find that person that can help you, or find a couple of people. What I've always done as a district manager is during SC2, I've always hired one of my personal friends for an hourly wage to help me run interviews and do PDI. And I've always hired them so that way I could send out my entire staff. One time the guy was named Matthew Groover. One time the guy was named Daniel Hughes. One of them, Matthew Groover, went on to be a district manager. He started as someone just like running interviews for me for paid hourly, because he was just like a sharp guy, and he was impressive, and he could take those things off my plate. So if you're not still doing interviews because you're a branch manager, then they could easily do PDI. PCs, that might be a little bit more difficult, but you never know. Stacy might have some ideas for you. So the main answer to this question is you want to consider finding ways for other people to support you in this so that you can be the way that you are and go all out and give your best during this push.
Hey, so I would chime in with this. Carla, at our meeting on Sunday, we'll actually cover some of that for you to help you out with that. The other thing is for all of your benefits, irregardless, I mean, most of us don't have the size of team that McColl was taking care of either. So that's the other part. When you look at a team of, you have 5 to 12 people, you'll be able to do both and not really lose much. Most of us don't have, 28 reps who are going after the push or anything in that size range. So you'll be able to take care of your main people. And I think what McColl did here was helping, like he never did this while he was in the district manager role, where he actually did this accountability and sport part at the same time. But I think part of that would actually do your rep management for you. Like, believe it or not, it sounds crazy that it would do it for you, but it kind of helps out. But we'll get you some more on that. And that's good stuff. That's very interesting, McColl, the concept of hiring somebody just randomly, like just going, hey, come do this. Like sit here and do these things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
It's a thought.
Cool, guys. Hey, for time's sake, we're going to cut it off there on the McColl side of things. McColl, thank you very greatly. This, I think if everybody just takes these 2 notes down, I think your CPO during the SC2 push would go up tremendously. And that is accountability, like saying to yourself, I'm going to do this, number one, because I'm going to be accountable to everybody else. And if every day you had to post your update, and every day you were simply saying, hey, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in this situation of, I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to put myself out there on the line. I think that in itself would move your CPO tremendously. Can you imagine if every day we as managers said, we're going to put out there to the world how many people we recruited and how much our office sold every day. And we were required to do that. And for our parents and the whole world to say, you had a great day, you had a horrible day, you had a whatever day. Like that will move the needle and make it. So I would say that number one. And then number 2 is support. I go, man, if I just think back to last summer, if Allie every day, if we would have been as ingenuitive as McColl was, and we'd had Allie do this for the entire team every day, Spencer to do this for the entire team every day, Patrick to do this for the entire team every day, everybody would have been more excited. Even if they were having a great day, a bad day, because when they see McColl have a bad day, that's just as good as them seeing McColl have a great day. Like we forget that, but it's like when it's like had 8 demos, ended up doing 3 and sold $350 today, is just as positive for our team as anything else. So that's why when we said, hey, the people who should be on this are branch managers and assistant managers who've been through a push, because first of all, you guys have a customer base, A, okay, that can actually do some of this. And B, it's that accountability and that support system that I know was such a big deal for. I know that the reason McColl exposed himself was for something grander. He just won with 80 orders at the end because we didn't know that was going to happen. And I'm pretty sure McColl didn't go, the key to this is I'm going to get 80 orders at the end of this push period. I don't think that was
definitely not.
That's what we all see now, and we all want to duplicate now, but it's not actually the thing that made a difference. So, so Allie, you have Less than 12 seconds. 10.
Very quick question. So you said that you said like on your stories and stuff, your bad days in a positive way. So obviously I felt super, super terrible after my bad days, like horrible until I had a really good day. So how did you implement a positive aspect into your stories after having like a super terrible day, like a spatula spreader and 6 cancellations?
Mhm. It sort of became a rallying cry. You guys may have heard me tell this story in the past about how this one lady, she called me, she's like, I'm not going to buy anything. She'd done like 4 demos before. And I'm like, all right, great. This is going to be, one of those demos. But I decided I was going to give my best and I wasn't going to waste my time. So I did that demo and I sold an ice cream scoop or a can opener, like something. And I sold it. And it was like, I could look at that as, oh, I wasted my time. I spent an hour and a half and I sold a can opener. Or I can look at it as like, I really gave my best and I'm going to share this with people. So whenever I would have a tough time, I just looked at it as like, how can I learn from this? So if I had a really rough day, it's like, hey guys, today was a really rough day. And what I want to share with you is that the things that I'm learning are to not focus so hard on the results and know that giving my best is the most important thing. And today, there was one moment where I decided I didn't want to give my best. And I really learned from that because that felt like that gave me momentum for the rest of the day in the wrong direction. And I feel like that really affected my day. So tomorrow, here's what I'm committed to. No matter what the result is, I'm going to give my best and I'm going to focus on every single little action that I possibly can. And so I would share things like that about like what I'm learning, what I want to be committed to moving forward. It was like a video, journal, diary, personal growth, reflection, all in one.
McColl, thank you again. This time we really have to stop.
Sounds great.
It's for time's sake. So McColl, thank you very much. Appreciate it very much, guys. Hey, for you Lone Star guys, we got one more topic here real quick that we're going to cover. That should be helpful to you. So let me move things around here real quick and come back. So there we go. Okay, good. Okay, so we have one more topic that this would also be something for you guys who have a customer base that can basically help you out to move things along and may mix in to exactly what McColl talked about, like especially the email part of things. It will mix in into this. So Cassie Torres, Cassandra, she now, I'm sorry, Cassie, I apologize, by the way. I don't know if you'll ever get me to call you Cassandra. Just like
that's okay. I appreciate that.
Anyway, so Cassie actually started many years ago, back when she was a young high school student, basically in the vector business. She actually was an assistant manager, was a top rep, an assistant manager. She was a branch manager. She was a district manager in the mix. So did a little bit of everything over a couple, now career sales, her personal career sales are 200,000. What's your official number?
Just over 350,000.
Okay, let's say I knew you were pushing that $500,000 mark at some point in there. $350,000 of career sales. So obviously, it's done really well. In the process, though, she's also, kind of in her time after a district manager, she went on to work in some other businesses and other things where she did marketing and email marketing and these different kind of things. She's come back to the vector side of things and she's helped some FSMs and CSPs. And then this last Christmas actually did some things related to the Christmas window with some of Damien's district group. And they did some marketing there. So she's going to go over some ideas for you and some things she can offer at a super discounted rate. And I say discounted rate, it's a super rate period. Like she's discounting it for us basically in order to help you with the SC2 push window as well, and to help marketing to some of your past customers to help drive some activity there in addition. So Cassie, I'm going to turn it over to you and let it go. By the way, she also teaches yoga. And that's what she was just doing, by the way. She just got on after teaching yoga. So if you need some extra lessons, she's more than happy to help you on that side.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, Stacey. I appreciate that intro. And I know you guys have been on this call for a little while now, so I will make this short, sweet, and as simple for you as I possibly can, which is kind of my goal with what I have to offer you today as well too. So, but I do have to start by just acknowledging this group of people who are here right now. You guys are absolute rock stars. And I remember running offices and the grit and the determination and just the experiences and the stories that come out proud of it. So you guys are in a really cool place, and I'm just really excited to be able to share this little tidbit with you that will hopefully make your process of selling as a branch manager during SC2 push a little bit easier. And as Stacy mentioned, I personally have kind of found a way to be able to help people, to especially high level CSPs and sales reps, managers, stuff like that, to be able to focus on what you do best, which in this case is running interviews and building your team and being in front of customers. And I handle little things in the background that can add value and CPO in this case to your offices. So let me share. I just have a really quick. I'll share my screen with you. Let me know if you can see this. Never done this on my phone, so we're going to practice. So yeah, can you see that? It says past customer marketing.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So, just a.
Hey, Cassie, I don't know if this is just me or if it's everybody or everything. Are you guys having a hard time hearing Cassie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cassie, you're cutting in and out on us, and it might be because you're using your phone at the same time as your other one. So can you hear us?
Notes here as
Hey, Cassie. Did we lose her completely?
Yeah, I think we lost her.
She gone.
Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Trust me, you'll crush it with that. Let me put this to her.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened.
Are you back?
Here we are. Yep. So,
Hey, so just so you
yes.
know, when you shared your screen, your sound basically disappeared.
It disappeared. Oh, okay.
So I think it was because you were using your phone, and the combination of it, you were pulling too much internet away from yourself there.
Probably sounds like it. Okay, cool. No worries. I'll just talk to you guys here. But the point of past customer marketing is to create that connection, tell a story, and to cultivate retention in a very low key, low pressure kind of way that allows your customers to be able to pull up their email or that text message on their own time and see what it is that you have to say and what you have to offer them. What this also helps to do is helps to shorten that time to sell, gain repeat business, and essentially you're just doing less but gain more. So what's included in this and what this kind of looks like is a series of emails and text messages that go out in a specific sequence of time. It consists of, this program specifically consists of 2 emails, 1 text message, and I'll provide you with a call script if you want to do some follow-up calls that align with this content and message you'll be delivering to them in the emails as well. But the first email is just a quick introduction to what it is you have to offer. In this case, it's going to be a sale. This can be marketed as your SC2 push sale with specific discounts designed for your customers. And this is your existing customers. So this is something that's very special and unique to them, and a benefit of having a representative like yourself who continues to stick around year after year and sell and service and those kind of things. And so the first email is just a quick introduction into your goals, what it is that you have going on, what the sale consists of, and how it is they can contact you to be able to take advantage of that. And then about a week later, we'll send out a second email that just says, hey, just a friendly reminder, just checking in, just letting you know there's still this much time left in the sale, and wanted to make sure you got everything that you needed. And then the final piece of the communication is a simple text message. And the text message goes out 72 hours before the sale ends. So in this case, it'll be 72 hours before SC2 conference. And that's just a last chance text that gets back in front of them. Sometimes people maybe either saw the email, thought about it, just haven't gotten back to you, or saw your post on Facebook or whatever it is and just haven't gotten back to you. And so that text message, just a little short, simple, sweet message to let them know, hey, you're still here, the sale is still going on. And it builds a little bit of urgency in those last few days to be able to snag up a few more orders, or sometimes in this case, big orders, to be able to close that up. So what is included in this little program that I have specifically for you guys is the database setup. So I will do all of the work for you, which is the beautiful part about this kind of program. So all you have to do is send me your past customer list, which you can easily pull from Vector Connect. I will take care of the email content. I will take care of the design, making sure it's nice and beautiful and easy to read. I will schedule the emails for you, and I will provide you with a script to be able to use as a text message and a script for follow-up calls that align again with the message that is included in this email. And I'll also, at the end of it, I'll also send you a detailed report as well too, as to who opened and who clicked and all that other stuff. So whenever you're doing follow-up calls and you see that maybe you had 10 people click on your link that says shop here now, and it's really quick and easy to be able to call those 10 people who are a little bit warmer in your lead base to say, hey, just wanted to check in, make sure you got this. Happen to see anything you liked. And those are really the money phone calls because you've been warming them up through this process of the emails and showing them that content, and then just giving them that phone call seals the deal. But there's less work to do because you've already been doing that in that automated process. So that's what's included. As Stacey mentioned, yes, super discounted price. Normally I charge somebody typically $125, $150, depending on the context of this for an email. I'm going to do this for you guys who have a past customer base for just $75. And what I just mentioned is all included in that: the emails, text message,
Dylan
Washman.
Keep going. Say that again.
Okay. Yes. So $75 gets you the email setup, the text message script, the phone call script. And again, I'll take care of all the back end stuff for you. So you don't have to worry about doing any of that. This is one of those things that you send me the info, I plug and play, and you just go and orders come in, your phone will ring, and that will be the deal.
So just make sure to get this, just so you hear this correctly. So what the $75 gets you is, it'll get you, first of all, you send Cassie your customer list. She'll set it all up for you into the database. Okay, so you don't have to go in and type everything in. She'll send it in your database. She'll send the email for you. You'll then get the phone calls of people interested. She'll then turn around and send the email again for you to the people a second time. And she schedules the text message for you as well. So in other words, all those things are automated that are done. You don't have to worry about them. So you can basically focus on doing demos, doing your social media posts, doing your other stuff. And then this just kind of happens in the background. That's what you're kind of looking at. Cassie, I missed something there. Is that pretty accurate?
That's pretty accurate. The only thing about that is the text message. I'll give you the text message script that you can use, and you'll send your own text messages. If you would like for me to send your text messages, I can do that. Just let me know. There is an additional cost for that, but that is something that I can set up for you if that's easier for you.
Cool. Questions? Yes, go.
Yep. And just to give you a quick idea, I did this for some of Damien's reps last Christmas, and I remember I can't remember his last name. His name is Hunter, one of the hunters that we have, and I remember I was actually working the mall with him, and it was the first day we sent out his emails. Black Friday, we sent out his email. His email went out, and literally an hour later, he got a phone call from somebody, and they ordered a signature with steak knives. So it's so easy, super fast, really efficient. And that's kind of the results that you could be getting from this program.
Allie, which question?
Okay, so you said there's like a shop here now button on the email. What does that shop here thing look like?
Yeah, good question. So the way the email is formatted is at the first of it, there's just a little bit of content about your goals, kind of what you're up to, what the sale is about, and then some images of Cutco products and stuff like that. And then they can click a shop sale here button, and it's nice and bolded and really easy to see. And when they click on that, it's going to pull them to a external link, which is essentially a PDF that I've created that has all of the sale pricing right there for them. So the sale items are going to be discounts on sets, flatware, cookware, and then small bundle packages for like accessories and things like that. So it is true sale pricing. So it will beat what they can find online and all that other stuff. And I'll send you a document that explains how to write up those orders with those discounts as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Carlos, maybe your last question here. Is there a different price for people who did this during Christmas since their account's already set up?
There is not. And the reason is because you've had new customers add since then. So I'll also have to go and re-upload and do all other stuff. So,
yeah. And I think you're also already getting any discount clause. You're already getting that.
So, yeah. And all the content is new. So it's a new sale email. So it's not going to be the same that they received before.
Good. So cool. So if you're interested in that, so what we'll do is, if you guys want to do that, want to add this to the mix of things, we'll get on, just so you know, Cassie, we have a meeting on Sunday. We'll just send around a sign up form and basically get that sign up, like, here's the people who need to be part of it. And when do you need their information by? Like, tell us that. Like, so in other words, if somebody says, hey, I'm in, take my money, as Spencer wants people to take his money. When do you buy?
Yes. So you guys have a meeting Sunday. So if I can get that all from you, let's just say by Tuesday, the 13th, then we'll launch the first email on Monday, the 19th.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds perfect to me. Cool. Cassie, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your help on that. Thanks for getting out of yoga fast for us too. That way you could be here. Yeah. Hey guys, I have one more question for you. Damien sent this over. I thought it was an interesting question, and it's interesting because we've kind of been married into this now for about a 6-year window, as we've become kind of the push week gurus across our company. I don't really think we're the best at it necessarily in every level, but definitely overall results over the last couple of years has pushed us to the top of the food chain. So one of the things that has made a difference over the years was when I started running the SC2 rep prep meetings and basically prepping people on how to actually work during SC2. Damien asked this question. He's like, what's the reason someone should attend the SC2 rep prep meetings? Like, what is the benefit of that? And as I thought about it, it's like, my answer is now I'm like the old like grandpa going, because I said so, damn it. That's why you do it. Like you basically attend just because. Can I get, for those of you who attended last year, 2 years ago, some of those kind of things, what's your take on what you got out of the rep prep meeting? So this is the meeting that's ran next week, where I go through the 10K schedules. I usually go through, selling cookware, selling, not really selling it in depth, but these are all the things you want to use during the push week, schedules, mindsets, preparation, etc. What are the reasons that you say, hey, this is why it was big for me?
I think the biggest thing for me, sorry, Ali, you didn't unmute yourself. I think the biggest thing for me is that Gerardo said it on the regional call. It's like kind of like the push week's a cake, and you need like salt, sugar, flour, all those kind of things. So at the prep meeting, it kind of just breaks down that cake to where setting the schedule, there's alliance meetings in the morning, there's scheduled phone times, there's demos, there's all day phone days. So kind of just simplifying it down. Because when people, they hear 10K, they're like, I've never done that before and they've never pushed before. It's kind of just simplifying it down to what they need to do each day, what kind of ingredients they need in order to cook up, a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 push. So it kind of just not simplified everything down for me, but it kind of just made it to a way to where, 10K was doable and bigger pushes like 15, 20, 25K was not normal. But if you put your mind to it, then you'd be able to do it, and getting the, help and resources and support for that.
Cool.
On the other side of that, so I had already had a 16K push and a 10K fast start. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do 10K. That's no big deal. Like I did 9,800 in a week, whatever. But that's like what my mindset was kind of coming out of SC1. And it did break it down. The rep prep meeting did, but it also got me like re-fired up. So I know that I was tired in between SC1 and SC2. And I was like, I really don't want to do anything. I honestly don't think I sold anything in between SC1 and SC2 last year. So I really didn't want to do anything. So it got me like re-fired up. And I know like even these calls and stuff get me re-fired up. Like I'm ready to go sell right now, but definitely the rep prep meeting, being there in person, for sure in person, got me really excited for SC2. And that's when I set my goal pretty high. I had to move it down because of my wisdom teeth, but that's when I set my goal pretty high. So.
For me, well, first of all, I learned the ultimate signature close. I guess I just wasn't paying attention at the earlier meetings. So I just like never learned it before the prep meeting. But also going off of what Spencer and Ali said, it really helped me, I guess, just like really focus on the push, because yes, we talked about SC2 during the conference. But the thing is, like, the conference is a whole lot. First of all, like SC1 push just ended and there's like trophies and like so many people and like so much cheering. And then like SC2 is at the very end. It's just like another push week. Like I just finished my fast start and SC1. Like I haven't slept in 4 weeks. Like please help. So after SC1, I kind of did what Ali did. I went to the beach for 3 weeks, and I didn't sell anything and it didn't work. And then when I went to the push, to the prep meeting, I was like, oh, like it's starting, you got to get ready. So it was just like a refuel of like, all right, this is starting. So yeah.
Cool.
And the prep meeting's in person, right?
Yes.
For like, those are the ones that like are like Forney, Austin, all those kind of places.
Yes.
So I think another thing that was really big for me is just the energy that we get at the conferences. Like kind of like how Ali and Carla said, just getting fired up. And another thing is competition. Like, back at Wilco, we had a very competitive office. George and Ali were batting head to head. Garrett was already, killing it, and just kind of seeing everybody else at the conference and being like, oh, like, because my mindset is just like, oh, well, if they're going for that, then I have to go for that. And so if you have people that are, oh my gosh, Ben Miller, don't even get me started. Corbin would send me one-on-one reports between me and Ben Miller. And it just got me pumped up. Like I had gone on vacation. So going to the prep meeting just kind of set the standard that like, hey, there's other people that are going for this. You should do that too. And so it just, I'm a very competitive person, but when it got at the prep meeting and everyone else was getting fired up, it was so hard not to want to sell 10K for the push.
By the way, I if I can throw that one out, that I think there is something to just, it's re-energizes people. Like you guys, like that probably is more than anything else. It's just, it's that re-energy, like, and it's hard to get that on Zoom. Like I can do everything I possibly can to do it on Zoom. And there is something you give it. It is hard to get that, especially for somebody who started, like Carla's such a great example. She started literally she finished her fast start the day before SC1 finished. Then she came there. So she'd been basically in the job 3.5 weeks when she went to SC1. So losing some of that energy and some of that thing is there, getting them back to a live event where they're around people who are saying, I'm going to be great, I'm going to go do this thing. We know that not everybody who attends the event is going to sell 10K. Like that's a crazy concept to think that everybody who attends the one's going to sell 10K. So that's that's a big deal. So good. Anything else? I'll give you just one more. And the reason I'm asking this is because I'm going to put together either a video or a list of things that I'm asking you guys, because I'm like, maybe I don't know what the meeting is for, and I forgot it. The energy part probably is a big deal, and Ben Miller, that's another reason.
Okay, if no one else has anything to say, I wanted to add, like, it's just the prep meetings are a smaller group too. And then so it just makes reps feel comfortable. So like I remember going to a division meeting SC1 and being like, oh, new rep, like can't talk to anyone. But then like prep meeting was the first time where I was actually like talking to the people around me. And when I talked to you for the first time too, Stacy, well, I guess we had talked at the dinner, but like that was, I remember you were making fun of me for something. I don't know, but you were making fun of me, and I don't know. It just like
for taking a bunch of meat and never eating it.
Oh yeah. You were like making fun of me for not eating at the dinner. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, like, look, division manager is talking to me. Okay, we're friends now. I'm good. So it's just a smaller group, so it feels nice.
That puts a lot of pressure on me, so I have to talk to everybody else.
You have to be nice, Stacy.
I'll follow up on what Carla said. I mean, obviously I worked in the division office, so I saw Stacy every day. But I think that it firms up the alliance as well. So whoever goes to the rep prep meeting kind of is like, oh yeah, I'm kind of locked in now. So I had, daylight's burning. I had trouble getting out of bed some days, and Stacy would call me and be like, get up, come to the office right now. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Because so many people asked me at the division meeting what I was going to sell for SC2. And if I was going to beat my SC1 and all this stuff. So they were like questioning me. And so that kind of encouraged me to go to the office every single morning. So I drove 30 minutes to the office every morning.
Cool.
Another thing, don't be like me. Okay, so last year for my branch, I didn't make sure I had the right location and time. So I told all my reps that it was in the evening in Austin, but it was actually in the morning. So Stacy called me and was like, hey, where are all your reps? Where are you? I had like 10 people ready to go. And I like literally had a mental breakdown in the restroom. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? So I had to be very vulnerable. I called all my reps while I was still like crying, because I was like, whatever, they're going to like hear that I'm just human. And they all ended up going with me later in the evening. And I just drove them all an extra 2 hours out of their day. And all of them were inside like my office at 7 a.m. for the entire push. So it's okay to be vulnerable with them whenever you're asking them to go to this prep meeting. Like if you need to cry, you've been like a badass already the entire summer. It's okay to cry, and you just don't do what I did and like accidentally not get the right office in time. So I know my opinion isn't that valuable, but that's just what I'm putting out there.
Anna, can you explain to us why your opinion isn't valuable?
I'm just kidding. I'm perfect.
Exactly. It's very valuable. Thank you. Okay, good. All right. Just making sure. I was like, because that's not a good way to end it. You should say, and that's the bottom line, because Anna said so.
Because I'm the best.
Cool. Guys, thanks for that. This gives me some good feedback, in the mix. Obviously, again, I feel like they're very important, but it was one of those things that Damien asked. And I was kind of like, my answer would be because I said so. And I don't think that's a very good answer. I don't think many people are going to be too motivated. Damien's not going to be like, well, you know what? I can motivate people because Stacy said so. It's like I know that there's a lot of things. These are good. And if there's other things, you can shoot me a text and just let me know, hey, here's another thing I think people gained or got out of it, which is a big way as well. So great, guys. Hey, thanks for your time. Hopefully you got some great stuff out of today. The McColl stuff's really good. Cassie's will be some extra CPO for you. I think we need to find a way to blend those together to make sure they don't kind of step on each other, by the way. That's important. Also, reminder that we are a go for Saturday evening. Make sure if you didn't let me know if you're going to be there for sure. I do need to know that for food purposes. And then if you're assistants, by the way, you're not invited. Sorry. And then Sunday is obviously the prep meeting. So make sure that you have that in your schedule as well. Let's crank it out. Have a great training seminar today. Let's keep growing. Looks like we will slide past Rockies for number one if we tab really well and they don't tab so good. It looks like we'll slide past them, but barely slide past them. So let's make sure we're getting recruits using the contest that we just had as well. Guys, thanks. Have a good one. Appreciate your time.